This is just a short video interlude to discuss the notion of innateness, which has recurred now several times, both within the topic of development and before even when it came to language. The topic features heavily in those currents of discussion that are characterized by rationalist and empiricist poles. We've identified these before, that they are different and overlapping sets of concerns. In rationalism, emphasizing nature, innateness, built-in stuff, and biological inheritance. Empiricism, emphasizing one's encounter with the world, the manner in which you're changed by engaging with others, with the senses, learning about the world by exploration, and developing concepts based on experience. We've noted that these concerns are always present in cognitive science. And now we've had several occasions to note that the idea that you might cleanly separate nature and nurture is nonsense. We can't. So again, these are not positions that need to be adjudicated among. It's not the case that, well, we're all going to be rationalists or we're all going to be empiricists. Different researchers seeking into different things bring different sets of concerns. Nevertheless, the idea that one might cleanly separate such issues has played a prominent role in 1960s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and still crops up today. And nowhere more than in twin studies. Twin studies had appeared to some as the secret weapon that would inform us about what belongs to the body and what belongs to the education, culture, upbringing, rearing. And in this fantasy world, an ideal subject for study would be identical twins who are separated at birth and raised in completely different environments. Then we'd have the contrast that we need. This is nonsense. There is no child that has ever been reared without a context. So even in that peculiar situation in which if you had identical twins reared in different circumstances, that does not allow you to partition things into nature versus culture. Here's a more eloquent writer than I, Vaughan Bell from The Psychologist, who writes this: nature versus nurture is a lie. Music is not melody versus rhythm, and wine is not grapes versus alcohol, and we are not environment versus genes. We are their sum, their product, and their expression. They dance together and we are their performance, but neither is an adversary. The art of understanding this elegant ballet is complex and arcane, but you might never realize that from reading the quoted results of genetic studies, because the extent to which a trait is heritable, that is, accounted for by genetics, is usually in such studies expressed by a simple percentage, and that hides all the complexity. So it's important that we know that genes mean nothing without an organism and an environment. And there's no rational sense in which we can separate biology from culture or nature from nurture. So twin studies need to be approached with a particular degree of caution because they are often ideologically rooted in a desire to separate out something which is inseparable in principle. There have been problematic scientific studies done in this area. And there's a film called Three Identical Strangers, which I would recommend to you. It's an entertaining story and it starts off fairly low-key, but spoiler alert, somewhere in the middle you encounter a very problematic scientific study inspired by this ideology.